Hey everybody, I'm pretty sure you have one of these in your pantry, and if you don't, you should. A jar of tomato sauce can come in handy for a number of reasons. For one, it's a jar of tomato sauce. It's a pasta sauce that's always good to have on hand for a quick meal. It's a good base ingredient for a lot of things, like infusing your fish and veggies, making a quick pizza sauce, or starting off a shakshuka, or even a tomato soup. But it's just a regular jar of pasta sauce. So in this episode, I'm gonna be taking this jar of pasta sauce and turning it into something from yummy to ooh, more yummy. I'm Alex Kaufman, and I enjoy learning new things, especially when it comes to cooking and food. And don't get me wrong, I like a lot of other things, but I don't wanna mess with the YouTube algorithm. So what's this tomato sauce video all about? If you find this jar in the back of your fridge and you're just getting tired of the same old thing, consider using this as a canvas where you can add more flavor, taste, texture, and yes, even nutrition. Using a jar of sauce will help you save a little time and perhaps save you from the messiness of crushing tomatoes with your bare hands or jamming them through a sieve all over your kitchen. It'll give you a chance to experiment in the kitchen and create something unique for yourself or your family. Let's get started. Let's start by boiling some water and salting it. I've got 3 liters in the pot, so about 30 grams or 1% salinity. You want it to taste like the ocean, really. The salt water helps flavor the pasta, and my suggestion is to salt with a light touch. You can always add more salt later.
Little mid-Atlantic, touch of Pacific.
All right, add the pasta. Stirring the pasta around in the first few minutes will help prevent it from sticking. I cook the pasta 2 minutes less than noted on the box. That way I can finish up cooking it in the sauce. Can we just admire how awesome pasta water looks in slow motion? Damn, I could do this all day. But I won't. Let's get back to it. Once the pasta is done cooking, scoop up about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of the pasta water. The starch in the water will help thicken up the sauce. Fish out the pasta if you're weird like me with a bunch of tongs, or drain it in a colander. Now let's get the sauce ready. Here's what you're going to need. Recipe with estimated amounts in the description. You guessed it, a jar of tomato sauce, and a handful of fresh tomatoes, 1/2 an onion, and a couple of small shallots. Shallots are a little milder and sweeter than regular onions. If you're feeling fancy, go shallot, but otherwise, use what you got. A couple of cloves of garlic and some fresh basil. Where's my basil? Don't run with scissors. Beautiful. There we go. 1 tablespoon of tomato paste for umami, and that 1/4 to 1/3 cup pasta water. For spices and herbs, I like to use a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, onion powder, dry oregano, dry basil, and you can use crushed red pepper flakes. I don't because of the kids. I recommend using these gently to add to the flavor profile, to enhance or build upon the dish, but don't overdo it. Heavy is the hand that can ruin dinner. Also optional, and I won't be using it for this recipe, but you can add some red wine. The tannins add a nice bitterness to the flavor profile, and of course, you can add some butter. The butter is a great emulsifier for the sauce, adding a rich, creamy texture. I'm gonna leave those out for now. Last optional, a pinch of sugar to balance out the acidity of the tomatoes. Use it or not, it's up to you. You should be tasting and adjusting your salt, spices, and sugar as you see fit. For optional ingredients, you can specify this to your family's tastes. Bell peppers, zucchini, a handful of spinach, and some broccoli. It's really up to you. I think that's the main purpose of this video. You can buy all kinds of sauces in the grocery store, but this is your chance to make it your own. If you don't like any one of these ingredients, don't. If you like mushrooms, add them. If your kids hate mushrooms, don't add them. Or add them, and just tell them you're feeling saucy today. Let's prep the ingredients. I think when making your own sauce, you not only get to add whatever ingredients you want, but you also get to play with texture, a useful technique for the home cook. When chopping up the vegetables, you can dice, chop, or slice them to give them variety. It makes every bite a little bit different. Again, it's up to you to do what you like. Make each sauce a little different. I'm taking the basil and I'm stacking up the leaves. This is called a chiffonade, when you roll it up like a cigar and then slice them. I'm chopping up the garlic into bigger chunks to make the garlic less intense. The more you dice or press the garlic, the more of that intense garlic flavor you release. I'm going to cut the bell peppers differently. Just because they're the same vegetables doesn't mean they have to have the same texture. The red peppers are going to get diced, and the green peppers, well, I'll be chopping those up into bigger chunks. Again, it's completely up to you. Let's start cooking. I'm using a non-stick pan on medium heat. I like to warm up the pan for a minute and then warm up the oil for about a minute or two. It's just another one of those useful tips for a home chef. Then add the onions and saute those for a minute or two. Then add the tomatoes, saute those for another minute or two. And then you can add the garlic. Some recipes start off with the garlic, but I like to add this second or third in the process so the garlic doesn't burn, and let that saute for about 30 seconds. Add the bell peppers or whatever optional vegetables you've included here. Some vegetables need a little more cooking time. I'm cooking the bell peppers for about 2 minutes here on medium-low to medium heat. Add the tomato paste and mix it in together to release some of that umami flavor. Now add the tomato sauce and let that cook down for a couple of minutes. Add the spices here, your garlic powder, onion powder, dry oregano, and that pinch of dry basil. I'm not adding the chili flakes here because of the kiddos, but again, if you like a little spice, the chili peppers are an excellent addition. Mix that up and let that cook on medium to medium-low for another minute or two. You see the bubbles? That's the water evaporating, which is great. It'll make your sauce nice and thick. I decided to add some butter. I couldn't help myself. It really does add a very nice, rich flavor to it. Again, you can see that I didn't add too much. I would only suggest adding maybe a tablespoon or two. It's here where you can add the wine and then add the pasta water. And you're going to want to taste while you cook. I noticed that I needed a little more salt, but you can add the sugar here as well. I'm adding the fresh basil at the end because the heat can really kill the flavor. So we're almost done here. Then finally, you want to add the pasta and let that cook for that last 2 minutes on medium-low. Mix it up in the sauce, and there you go. You're done. Now top it off with some freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano or add a cheese of your choice. What I love about this is that it's a perfectly personal pasta sauce for you and your family. It's quick, easy, and it gives you an opportunity to try new things in the kitchen. I hope you'll give this a try. Hit that like button if you enjoyed watching. I'll see you next time.
This is really good. I mean, I'm in here inside YouTube telling you it's delicious, but it really is delicious. And yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my lunch. Cheers.